But I want to talk to you about the need, because Whispering Ponies Ranch is only able to facilitate these camps because of generous viewers and supporters just like you. You know, the model stopped being years ago, Charisse, that we could simply underwrite this because of, you know, book donations. And a lot of people under the last 4 years in particular, they've still not recovered from hyperinflation, the difficulty just buying groceries, and what little money they might be banking now that economic circumstances are shifting maybe in a more positive direction. They're trying to get caught up on credit card payments and stuff. So it's not, hey, we had a political election cycle and now the finances across the nation are fixed and everybody's got wherewithal to send in money for book donations. That really isn't the method by which we're able to do this anymore. It really is just that people believe in the vision of what Whispering Ponies Ranch and SkyWatchTV are doing. You know, camp food costs money, employee wages, we're talking about repairs and maintenance, veterinary expenses, the farrier, fertilizer, grass upkeep, animal feed, training equipment, amenity utilities, camp insurance.
Oh, that's a big, it doubled.
Our insurance has doubled from what it was. Sanitary services, garbage, janitorial supplies, and more. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that if you want to help send a kid to camp, one of the biggest responses we've ever had, and this has become our annual campaign since the success of its origin a few years ago, is our Send a Kid to Camp model for ministry. And I want to explain this to you. When you decide to send a kid to camp, you underwrite the expenses associating with providing specialized services to camper, including around-the-clock supervision, activities and equipment, food service, that list of things I just mentioned, and everything else needed to make a Whispering Ponies Ranch camp a healing and unforgettable experience in the life of a seriously abused child. For kids of trauma, the positive self-esteem supporting inspiration of this unique camping experience becomes unforgettable. It becomes an important part of their development and eventually their path. It is the filter where they leverage everything else beyond that week of camp as their life filter, the thing that they weigh it against, making decisions, the lessons that they've learned and processed. And campership donations are the core of support for these traumatized youngsters. And I want to tell you how you can partner with us. Will you send one or more kids to camp this year at Whispering Ponies Ranch? In order to do that, I'm going to bring this up on the screen for you. You can underwrite the cost for a full week of 5 days for one kid for only $350. That is the expense to send one kid to camp for an entire week.
Which is absolutely unheard of. If you have a child and you send them to camp, $350 for the entire week for everything and all the amenities, it's unheard of.
But we really want to be flexible and accommodating. Not everybody has $350 to send a child to camp for an entire week. So we also have the ability to sponsor a kid for a half week of camp. That's one kid at camp for only $175. That is your donation of $175. We'll send one kid to a half week of camp, and maybe there's another sponsor that will also complete the other half, and we're still getting souls to Whispering Ponies Ranch. But you can also sponsor a kid for one full day of camp, which is a donation of only $75. So you get to own that for the rest of your life. You know that one child made it to 1 day of camp for only $75. This is a donation to SkyWatchTV to help us fulfill this important work. We also have opportunities for those that do have additional means, that have really bought into the vision of Whispering Ponies Ranch and want to help more than one kid be able to go to camp for their encounter with Jesus Christ. Special week of camp for 5 kids is only a donation of $1,700. Friends, this is 5 souls at Whispering Ponies Ranch with unforgettable encounters with Jesus Christ because of your generosity. A special full week of camp for 10 kids. If this is something that you can do, that you would prayerfully consider doing, a special week of camp for 10 kids is a donation of only $3,250. Friends, this is not money that goes to Joe Horn's private jet fund. If you know me and you see what I drive and where I live, that's a dandy idea, isn't it? These people are laughing at me because they know.
Quite comical.
The minute we're done with these programs, this suit is coming off and I go back to work. This is not money that is being wasted on frivolous things.
No, not
this
at
is
all.
keeping SkyWatch TV in the black so that we can do what we really care about as a ministry, and that is preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the 4 corners of the earth and to support aid, abet, underwrite, and provide camping experience for these young kids that have been abused in every possible way that you can imagine, where society has said you'll never amount to anything.
Yeah.
Right.
You have no value.
Yeah.
Their hands have been held on stovetops as a form of discipline. They've been locked in dog cages. They've been beaten with bicycle chains. These kids, you can't imagine until you look into the eyes of some of these kids that have been traumatized during what is a rehabilitation-based, Jesus Christ-inspired week of camp. And it all happens at Whispering Ponies Ranch via SkyWatch TV because of people just like you. And very quickly, before we run out of time, if you're one of these that loves the handy access to something simple and slick like a mobile app, you can also go to the App Store.
Yeah.
We have a SkyWatch television app that you can download free, and it actually frameworks every week all of our episodes so that you can't miss 1 minute of SkyWatch TV, even though we're being deplatformed on other platforms from
Yep.
time to time. But there's a very handy button on the mobile app that simply says donate.
Yeah.
And it allows you to set up automated payments if you want to support us that way on an auto draw so that you don't even have to think about it. We've got people that have said, Joe, SkyWatch TV is my church.
Right.
Yes.
We don't even go to a building with 4 walls anymore. We watch SkyWatch every week, and we've decided to support your ministry as a form of tithe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do that, but you can also donate specific one-time amounts through the mobile app.